couple of nights ago, I was visited by a woman in the astral plane, and she was very frantic. And she was like, "You have to talk to the indigenous people. You have to talk to the indigenous people. You should talk to the indigenous people." And I was like, okay. Like when I'm being met with the frantic energy, I tend to just stay calm and collected and be like, okay, I don't feed into it. So I was not into a panic. It's, oh my God, you're right. I was just curious, like, what are you talking about here? Why are you telling me what to do? Essentially was the question. Who are you? So a little further down in the astral plane, a little time later, I saw myself sitting, like heavy machinery and how they leave like tire tracks on the ground. And I was sitting at the bottom of a foothill that had like tire tracks, and I was sitting in this tire track rut, if you say. And then here comes some indigenous people that came, and they were women with dark skin, long, straight, black hair, and they had babies in their arm. And they were washing their babies just uphill from me, which all of the bad water was actually draining towards me, collecting mud and whatnot. And I was like, what's going on here? So I just got up and moved over to sit in the other tire track. And this is where they came right up close to me, and they're putting their babies in my face, and I can see like the drool on your little chin, and I really smell the odor of babies. Like babies have that new human smell, if you say. And I was confused by all of this, and I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on here. So a little bit later, I asked my guides, and I was like, because I'm quite busy. I interact with a lot of things. So, well, a lot of things wants to interact with me. So I have to put some filters. I cannot just open myself to everything, because then I wouldn't be able to function in the 3D world. And I was like, guys, what's going on here? Can I have some more information about this? Because I don't like the franticness of it. I don't know who these peoples are. I don't even know how I'm supposed to help them, really. So I need more information. A day later, this is where it showed up. I just opened YouTube for some reason, and here it was, a picture of indigenous people, Peruvian uncontacted tribes. And they were pictured on a beach. And there were some concerns because there are some logging people close to them, some logging business going on, and it's getting close to where they live. And this is where I clued in. I was like, oh my God, this is what they were showing me in my visions the day before. Me sitting in the tire tracks, they were communicating with me something, and they're well aware that there's something happening nearby them. So I was like, of course, yes, I want to help these people. Like, this is a worthy cause, and I want to make myself available. So as I thought a little more about it, another thing that came to mind as well is, if you think, because I was a pipe fitter in my 3D life, I work construction and I repair submarine and warship for the Canadian Navy. So I'm done quite a switch in my life since. That was quite a few years ago already. But even back then, if there were some hydraulic hoses that I had to disconnect on the side of the ship, let's say, I couldn't just let this hydraulic fluid pull down into the ocean, because the oceans are protected water, and it was in Canada, laws to protect such thing and protect the environment. So there was measure to be taken to make sure there was not a drip that would go directly in the ocean. But we're not talking about Canada here. We're talking about South America. We're talking about Peru. What are their laws in regards to ethics and politics and ecology of the environments? And something told me that they probably just don't care if the machinery breaks down in the middle of the Amazon jungle. Do they actually try to collect the oil and the hydraulic fluids when they have to repair something? Or they just let it all sit in the ground? Was some concern that I had. In all cases, I was like, okay, now that I know what I'm dealing with and I have a little bit of an idea, I want to make room for these people. So I had other things to do, but it's like, let's call them in. 7 o'clock last night, I asked them to come and to sit down, have a proper sit down and a proper conversation. Please talk to me. Let me know what I can do to help you. And the following is the conversation that I had with them. My name is Izzy, and welcome to the download. So I just want to start by reading what I have written down. It was them directly communicating with me words for words. So I'm just going to read this, and then I'm going to talk furthermore into the topics that were discussed here. And so let's get started. Oh, Izzy, sweet Izzy, la gringa sagada. We are so happy you are taking the time to communicate with us. Yes, what you saw in your dreams, smelling the babies, our babies. We are starting to wonder what kind of future they will have. We know the outside world, your world, is closing in on us. You saw the heavy equipment tracks. We know there are things that are changing the flow of the animal kingdom. We have noticed that human activity has somewhat reshaped the landscape, thus affecting the coming and going of the animals around us. Things are changing. We are curious to know what is best to secure the future of our children. Should we still hold on to our ways, or should we try to make contact and surrender? The future feels uncertain. We would just like to receive guidance. So this is what a wonderful woman communicated with me. And first, before I even talk into that, I want to say their energy was just absolutely amazing. They are highly high emotional people. They are deeply connected with the earth. They feel things and they have high emotional intelligence. They're just very pleasant and calm and serene to be around. So it was very, very nice to feel that from them. So essentially, they are aware that there are things going on in their vicinity that is affecting them directly, because they're so in tune with their environment and the coming and going of the animal kingdoms, the animals around them. They have noticed that there have been some shift in patterns in the animals around them and their movements. And they are aware that this shift in the way the animals are behaving around them at this point in time is due to all of the farming and logging activities that are close to them. So they are well aware of that, and now they have concern. What is actually going on here? So what I have communicated with them is first that yes, there are some human activity, but they are groups in my world of people, and I will let you guys know later in this video who they are, who are there to protect them, who are there to protect their livelihood. I reassure them that my world is very well aware that their environment, the Amazon rainforest, is vital not only for their survival but for our own as well. And I've shared with her that in fact we do view their home, the Amazon rainforest, as the lungs of the world, and we are well aware that if the Amazon were to disappear tomorrow, that we, not just them, would be greatly affected by it. Secondly, I told her that I personally find that their way of life is actually crucial for the future of humanity as a whole. And I've conveyed to her that I feel personally, and this is me speaking to her, obviously, I don't want to speak for everyone, I can only speak for myself here, but I have let her know that their way of living, our way of living in the first world, is so detached from our food chain, from the environment, that should there be something happening, let's say, that would force us to go back and fend from ourselves in nature, most of the people would not survive, because we are so detached from this way of life, we wouldn't know. But your people, I told them, and I reassured her, we know that her people, they are completely capable of sustaining themselves just from nature, from their home environment in a very delicate way. And that to us, well, to me personally, is worth preserving, because I feel as a race, even of all of humanity, if we lose the people and that are capable of living directly from their environment, should they disappear tomorrow, that knowledge is gone. That means we have to start from scratch again. And really, can you really see yourself like going to the jungle tomorrow and live off the land? Like, there's a lot of mosquitoes there. It's not first world comfort. Your clothes sometimes never dry. Like, we would have to completely readapt ourselves. And with all of the commodities we have on hands now, it would be a culture shock for a lot of people, myself included, really. So essentially, that's another thing that I've conveyed with her. The third thing that I have conveyed with them is, it's not the first time Uncontacted Tribe communicated with me. In fact, it was a few years ago. There was another tribe from the Amazon rainforest as well, but I think it was more on the Brazil side, who came to me, and they were wondering about planes. They saw planes and they were scared, and a lot of things there. But essentially, to another thing that I understood from reading this energy is, we all are part of an ecosystem, and their tribe are no different. This ecosystem actually balances itself, and once we remove an animal or something out of this ecosystem, it throws everything off balance. And something that I had saw in my previous vision, and I shared that with her, is the uncontacted tribe are very much part of a unique and delicate ecosystem within the Amazon rainforest. And should they vanish tomorrow, this whole balance would be thrown off. And I don't know, we don't know how much it would actually affect the Amazon, because I don't think it's something we've actually ever studied or considered before. So I felt like she was pleased with the information that I was giving her. And also I was like, to be honest, I'm not exactly sure how I can personally help you, but I would like to spread the words that you've shared with me on a global scale, and at least start passing the message around. Another thing too that I asked her, and I was like, how did you find me? Really? Because I'm in Ecuador, granted, it's close. I mean, I'm in the Andes mountain, but I'm not in the Amazon. I don't speak the language. Like, there's quite a distance too. Like, it was all telepathic, essentially. And I was like, how did you find me? And she says, essentially, there's a heart resonance between their tribe and my energy, and because I'm also open psychically, but essentially it was my love from Mother Earth that connects us together and allows for this transaction and the transmission to happen. And she showed me memories of childhood that I have. Essentially, my parents, we had a fishing camp in northern Quebec, and we already live on a fjord. Like, it was very surrounded by nature, but yet even at that, we would go in the car for like a couple of hours, and then we would portage for another hour walking, and then we would arrive at the end of a lake which had a canoe hidden, and then we would paddle across the lake, and this is where the fishing camp was. So it's very isolated. And what happened there is, when I was a little girl, I was probably 4 years old, maybe 5 top. And in the evening, I would go sit outside, quiet, and animals would crawl out of the woods like little snowshoe hare, and they would come and put their little paws on me, and I could scratch underneath their chin. And I thought this was normal. And even growing up, I just always assumed that these experiences that I would have with these animals were because this cottage was so secluded in the woods that animals didn't know how to fear humans, so they just acted normal around us. But it's my father that corrected me, and he was like, no, I could go sit outside even with food in my hand. There's never an animal that would come out. Your brother would go and sit there for like half an hour, 45 minutes at a time. There's not an animal that ever came out. It was only you. You would just go sit there at the edge of the woods, and within minutes animals would come, and they would just not come with you. They had to put their paws on you. He says, I never understood that. And essentially, when we love nature, nature loves us back. And this is love of nature that allowed me to communicate and for them to find me, because they have that as well. So perhaps you're wondering, oh my God, what should we do with all of this information? Is this bad? Perhaps you feel sad. No, like honestly, I don't want you to feel sad. Why? Because to me, I feel this is such a great opportunity. This is what happens when we open our minds to telepathy. We attract like-hearted people. Because my love of the land attracted these people to me telepathically, and this is also why I can communicate with extraterrestrial beings, because I'm also a little bit nerdy and I like astrophysics and I love science. So I also attract multidimensional beings like, oh, wait for this download. Like, you love science, we'll teach you science. So essentially, to me, is an opportunity to bridge the gap between spirituality and science, and open our mind and our heart so we can transcend languages and physical barrier and come together as one. How cool would it be that we can still communicate with uncontacted tribe and yet share it on technological device like this? To me, this is amazing, and it's a step towards a right direction. It's a step towards a future where we all co-creating together. So essentially, that's where I'm at. I told her that I would like to keep in touch with her. I want to learn more about their way of lives if they want to share that with me. And she also mentioned, I was like, who else? I asked her, it's like, who else do you guys communicate with? Because yes, I've communicated with other tribes too. It's almost like a network of people up there when you really open your mind that you can talk to. And she mentioned Samoan people. And Samoan, I was like, isn't that near like New Zealand? And she said yes. And I was like, what do you guys talk about? And she's like, you have to go communicate with them first, and then we'll let you know what we actually talk about. But that, to me, that's fascinating, that the uncontacted tribe with no technology can have direct communication with another demographic of people thousands of miles away in the, like near Australia. Like, that is so far. It's very interesting to me and very unique. So this is where I'm at. If you want to have more information, there is a site. It's called Survivor International. I will put the link in the description box. They advocate for Indigenous tribe globally, and no, they are not paying me to make this video. They don't even know I exist. And I mean, at the time of me making this video, I have like 5 subscribers on this channel. So I'm not doing this for the money. I just firmly believe myself in the greater good, in the empowerment of humanity, and this is why I do what I do. But if you do want to know more, Survivor International is an awesome organization. They provide a lot of information, and they are actively working for the protection and the protection of all these uncontacted Indigenous tribes around the globe. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.